Hey guys, happy Friday. I am so glad that the weekend is here. I don't know about you guys. It's been a good week, but I'm just ready for the weekend. So anyhow, today is going to be a super casual video. I want to talk a little bit about business taxes, and then I want to share with you guys my new insanely guilty pleasure. So stick around for that. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel and you like it and want to hang out, you should definitely subscribe. Leave comments. I love to engage with you guys in the comment section, so all that good stuff. And if it's your very first time here, my name is Jessica, and I'm the owner and operator of Roundtown Candle Co. And I know that I probably just completely turned you guys off when I said I wanted to talk a little bit about taxes, but I do, and I'm going to keep it pretty chill with that. So I do think the information's valuable, so I hope you'll stick around. At any rate, here I go. So this past week, maybe the end of the week before, couple weeks ago, I don't even know now, everything's running together, but I got all of my business tax information ready and submitted to my accountant, or our accountant. And my husband owns his own business as well. His is service-based, so it's obviously quite a bit different from a retail side. But anyways, I handle all the stuff for both businesses, and so we'll focus on the candle side of it. But the point is, there's a lot of organization that has to happen in order for tax season to be slightly less stressful. So there's a main couple things that I do throughout the year that help me tremendously when it comes to the end of the year and submitting tax information. So that's why I kind of wanted to touch on this video now, because now is the time to start for the 2024 tax season. So it's a good idea to sort of do some of these things monthly, but at the very least you should do quarterly, because it just helps so much at the end of the year. So I have Inventora is who I use now for all of my inventory, keeping track of my materials, my finished product, all of that good stuff. So that is a really good system. You can go through, and which I highly recommend, and do audits throughout the year where you can just kind of keep track of everything, make any corrections that need to be made. It's really nice because I enter all my purchases in there as well. So when I go and buy product, wax, jars, whatever it is, I go in and I enter those purchases in so I can keep track of everything there. And obviously then it updates my materials inventory. So that is very good and useful, and there's reports you can get from that. So I try to keep everything very much up to date on Inventora. And the other side of it is obviously Shopify. They've got a gazillion reports. I use Shopify and the reports all the time. But I also use QuickBooks Online. So the thing I love about QuickBooks Online is I can manage all of my accounts for my business. So my PayPal account is on there. So whenever I receive payments through PayPal, it goes into that. And my regular business checking account. And then I also have a business credit card. Actually, I have 2 different business credit cards. So I like to use my credit cards a lot for 2 reasons. First of all, if ever there is an issue with maybe potentially fraudulent activity, it is easier for me, just based on sort of having dealt with that in the past, to deal with that from the credit card company rather than through my bank with my checking account. So I like the fraud protection and just the way that that's handled. It is easier for me if an account has to be frozen, it's easier for me if it's a credit card and not my checking account. The second reason that I really, really like to use the credit cards is because of the rewards that you get from using those cards. So if I'm making a purchase online for materials, I will use my credit card, and then I can turn around and pay that off with my checking account. So I'm not paying the interest, but I am getting the rewards, whatever perks there are, offered. So the credit cards can also be viewed and managed through my QuickBooks Online. So once a month or every couple weeks, sometimes when life is really busy, it may be every, quarterly. But I try to do it more often, but at least quarterly. I go into my QuickBooks Online and I go through all of those accounts, and I go through every dollar in, every dollar out. All the dollars in are for sales, and I mark that accordingly. But then I go through and I categorize the other products, like my business insurance and credit card fees. Credit card fees are writable when it comes to your taxes, so it's important to keep track of what you are being charged, with credit card fees. Then, dues and subscriptions. So for my QuickBooks Online, for my Shopify account, for Inventora, all those things, everything needs to be categorized. So when you go in there, and you can create rules so that every time that my Inventora payment comes out, it's automatically categorized as my dues and subscriptions. So that makes it nice. It's easy for that. And then of course you're always going to have stuff that, you just don't exactly know. Or I shouldn't say you don't know, but it's not one of those things that you do so often that you've got a rule created for it. So it's nice to go in there and look through each transaction, every dollar in, every dollar out, put it in its place. And that helps you to, once you get that done, you can pull up your profit and loss sheet, and it helps you to see your income and your expenses and kind of where you stand. So, maybe in the beginning of your business, you may have a lot more expenses than you do income. That's very common when you're starting a business because you have a lot of investment to get things going. You have to buy a lot of initial product and materials, and, your advertising or your marketing, whatever. A lot of that stuff is pretty heavy in the beginning. So, you can look at that and see like, okay, I'm not really showing a profit this month or this quarter, but, I've also made a huge investment into the products and the materials that I'm going to use for this new product line. So, things like that. It also helps you to see if you are in a point where you are profitable in your business, you can see how much profit are you showing, because you will have to pay tax on that profit. So, you can look monthly, quarterly, however you want to do that. And you can see, okay, so, it's looking like I'm having a pretty good profit. I'm projecting it's going to be a good year. So you need to start thinking about what kind of tax implication is that going to have. You don't want to go through and then get to the end of the year and you submit all your information to your accountant, and then you come back and like you owe a bunch of taxes that you're not expecting. So if you're new in the business and you've not really had a big profit yet, and now all of a sudden, you've got past that sort of growing pains, the beginning, maybe losses or, very minimal profit, and now you're getting to a point where you're really gearing up and you're having a lot of profit in your business, you may not know exactly what that's going to look like at the end of the year. So you can always, if you have an accountant or a tax preparer that you use, you can always reach out your CPA and say, hey, I'm kind of projecting that my income might look like this, at the end of the year. Can you kind of help me figure out maybe what I should be planning for taxes? And they'll do that for you. So, it kind of just gives you a heads up. And by keeping track of that stuff throughout the year, it makes it so much easier when you get to the end of the year and you have to submit that information, because instead of sitting down and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I have a year's worth of transactions to try to figure out. Instead of doing that, you already have everything pretty much ready. You can do some final checks. You can kind of get a little bit of an idea like, okay, I'm a little bit off from where I thought I was going to be, but, you just don't want to get to the end of the year and have a ton of work to do, because let's be honest, when we're at the end of the year, if you're a candle maker, that is a super busy time. So when you get done through the holiday season, it's like chill time. You need to recoup. You need to look and see like where your inventory is, you know, where everything stands, what you need to restock, what you need to do. Maybe you just need to take a break. And the last thing you want to do is have to go through and try to figure out every dollar in and out for the last year. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is it makes it so much easier to submit to your tax professional because you just kind of have everything ready. And like I said, maybe you glance over it and then you can just shoot it over and be like, that's it. So much easier. So much easier. Another thing I've done is I don't prepare my own taxes, but I am a single member LLC. So I file a Schedule C for my business. So what I do is I will get on the computer to the IRS's website and I will print out the Schedule C form. I keep the instructions up so I can refer back if I've got questions or things I'm unsure of. And then you can use that sheet as a guideline to put your numbers in and kind of figure out where things are going to go. You know, your advertising, your business insurance, expenses like that. You know, you can expense out your fuel. So the trips that I take to my local supplier, which when I say local is probably, what did I figure? It's like 63 miles there and back. So at any rate, like for this current tax year, you get 65 cents a mile. So I made 14 trips. So on those trips, I can take that mileage and I can use that as a tax write-off. So just keeping track of things like that really helps you to understand what's writable, where things need to be categorized, and ultimately what you're expecting when it comes to the end of the year. So that's why I think this video is so important right now, because now is the time to be focusing on next year's taxes. I know we're at this year's taxes. The deadline is coming up. Maybe some of you are still in panic mode trying to get things submitted or whatever. Maybe some of you are already like done, not even worried about it. You're focused on what's next. That's awesome. But again, I'm not a tax wizard. I'm not a tax preparer. I'm not claiming to be or knowing all the rules or the ins and outs. I'm just simply saying that for myself, I know that when I go through and make time to reconcile my accounts and really look through where my money is coming and going, it makes things so much easier. It gives me a really nice picture of my business throughout the year. Again, if you have QuickBooks Online or you have Shopify or Inventora, or maybe you use CraftyBase, whatever it is that you use, I guarantee you there are reports on there that can help you so much, and you should absolutely utilize those. I'm actually going to be doing a video here before too long, and I want to share with you guys some of my favorite reports that I use on Shopify and why I use them and how I create spreadsheets to kind of keep that information going. And oh, that's one other thing. So I use space in my home. You know, I have my retail store, but I use space in my home for making. That's where I am right now. Anyhow, so that space is writable. So you can take your household utilities. So you take the entire square footage of your home, you calculate the square footage of your space, and then you can take all your utilities. So your electric, your gas, your internet, all those bills. You take your personal expenses for the whole entire year. You hand those over to your accountant with the amount of space that you use. They do the calculations and you actually get to write off some of the utilities because I'm using internet here. I'm using electric. I'm using gas. Those items, yes, we use for our home for living, but I'm working here. So that becomes a writable expense. So ask questions, ask your accountant questions, look on the IRS's website, read the instructions for Schedule C or whatever schedule it is that you do for your taxes. There's a lot of valuable information there. It is absolutely bananas how confusing the tax system is and how confusing things are. And just when you think you get the hang of stuff, they change rules or they change amounts or things like that. So it's impossible to really, I don't know, it's a lot. So anyhow, bottom line, start now. Keep keep things organized. If you don't have, an online system, you don't like to use Excel, you don't like spreadsheets, that's fine. Get yourself a notepad, whatever works best for you, but keep track of your numbers, keep an eye on them. It helps you to do good business, helps you to know where you stand, maybe areas where you're like, whoa, I'm spending a lot of money on this, or maybe I'm not really spending very much money here and I can stand to spend a little more on this side of things. So definitely good. All right. That's the end of the tax talk. Now I need to share with you guys the most amazing thing that I have ever purchased, probably ever in my 42 years of life. So I will be honest with you and say that I am big on self-care and, just taking time, all that stuff. So obviously I work full time. I'm doing the candle business, which feels like it's full time, even though it's not. And, kids, life, blah, 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 like everybody else. But I haven't really been doing very much for me. And that is sort of meh. So I read a book. I hadn't read a book in forever. I read a really good book. Awesome. I was like, yes, this is good. This is what I need. I need to do things for me. So I bought this VR headset. This is the MetaQuest 2. There is a MetaQuest 3 out now, but this is the 2, and it comes with these little hand controllers. And my sister has this, and she's been telling me about this thing forever. And honestly, I was like, cool, but it's a little bit expensive and I want to try it first because I'm like, I don't know if I'll be the kind of person that gets dizzy from it, feels sick, has headaches, doesn't like it, whatever. So I went and stayed the night with my sister last weekend. We had a sister's night, which was super awesome. Another thing that's yay, do something nice for yourself. So we had a really good time and I got to try out her VR. Oh my gosh, I literally ordered it while I was still at her house. I am obsessed. Beat Saber is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I literally sit at work and I'm like, I cannot wait to go home and play Beat Saber. I get home and I play it until I'm exhausted, sweaty, and my muscles are hurting. And then I will chill out for a little bit. And as soon as they start to feel better, I do it again. I'm not even kidding. I also do the trip meditation. That is unreal. I just don't even understand why this isn't being talked about and being used by everyone. Maybe it is. Maybe I've been living under a rock. But holy crap, this thing is everything to me right now. So it's awesome. When I come home every day, I should probably meditate in the morning. It seems like it would make more sense, but I don't. So when I get home from work, first thing I do is when I put this on, I sit down and I do the trip meditation. And it really is awesome. You can choose if you want to be, calm, quiet, inspired, motivated, whatever, however your mood is, you can pretty much pick out what you want to do. And it is amazing. And then once I'm done with that and I feel super good, then I'm like, all right, it's time to party. So I start in with the Beat Saber. What a great workout that doesn't even feel like you're working out. It is the most fun ever. And I can't get over the visual part of the VR. It is so crazy to me. I've never done VR in my life. When you put the headset on, it is you are 100% there. And it is, I just want everyone to be able to see what I'm seeing. And so, yeah, I'm loving it. So my kids, they were couldn't believe I got this thing. They wanted to try it. So I let them try it and they are legit hooked. Every night I have to share this thing, which is fine. But always I'm just thinking to myself, I'm going to need to get these kids that are in VR or they're going to need to buy one or something eventually. Cause I just feel so stingy with this. I obviously let them play and we have so much fun together. But then there's a part of me where I'm tapping my finger, all right, are you done? Are you tired yet? Cause I want this thing back. So guilty pleasure. I'm feeling good. I'm definitely getting more physical activity. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I have been very much lacking in that area. So I'm getting so much physical activity. It's giving me more energy. It's making me feel better. I'm excited about it. And like I said, it doesn't even feel like a workout because it's so much fun. It's kind of just like dancing, but it's super fun. All right. Anyway, so that is my guilty pleasure. I love it. And I just always joke around because when I get home from work, I'm just like, I'm going to go to my other world. I'll catch you guys later. And that's pretty much what I do. So I'm going to go do that right now. And I hope that if like any of you guys use this, if you have VR, tell me like what your favorite games or sports or whatever it is that you do on there, like what's your fave? I'm interested to know. Right now, I'm pretty much Trip, Meditation, and Beat Saber. I haven't gone much beyond that. I did do like a 30-minute trial of like this zombie thing, which was very much like Walking Dead. And again, it's weird because you're 100% in it. And like I actually got in an elevator and I was like, I did this because it was like you feel like you're moving. It's the weirdest thing ever. But anyways, now I'm just going on and I should probably stop. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend and I will be back soon. I promise you that. Subscribe, like, leave comments. I always love to interact with you guys. I appreciate every single one of you that are on here. And yeah, until next time, I will catch you guys later. See ya.